Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the Oni with Thrifty Divas, and we're finally here for Kitchen Chronicles Part 2. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the Oni with Thrifty Divas, and I am here with Kitchen Chronicles Part 2. If you missed Part 1, stop this video right here, go down to the description box, click on the link for Part 1 because you 100% have to watch that before we get into this one. So again, since I'm talking, I most likely will be smoking. Please do not smoke. It's bad for your health. Okay, so where did we leave off? We left off with losing our little weasel, which was actually a godsend. One of you in the comments of Part 1 said, I would have called back the guy who first told you about the chimney. I hope that's what you do. Something to that effect. And I think I commented on it and wrote stay tuned or just put a winky face or something. Okay, so that was my next move. I called the guy that my mom had given me his number. And I said, hi, I was wondering if you remember me. You remember you came, you found the chimney, I cried. And he's like, yeah, I do. And I said, well, the chimney's done. I was wondering if you could come back, take a look. So he came back. We made an appointment. He came back. He came like 2 days later, checked everything out. We were talking and he said, I just want to let you know. He's like, I felt terrible. He said, I went home and told my wife that night that I made a customer cry. And my wife was like, what? And I said, yeah, it wasn't intentional. He's like, I was really, really upset. So I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, whatever. And he's like, no, it's fine. So he's like, I can't believe you did it. Most people wouldn't have done it. That's why I was trying to give you other ideas. Or I said, no, I got it done. He went and looked at the chimney stuff and he's like, oh, it looks great. They did a great job. Okay, that's out of the way. Now we can do whatever. Now, the other thing I want to mention about this guy is that, well, first of all, here's a little interesting tidbit. So we were talking about everything in the kitchen, and then we started talking about the marble or granite tops, and then he said, oh, we'll just call Mike. And I said, oh. Then the guy tells me, I think we can name him now. His name is Andy. So Andy tells me, yeah, Mike. That's how your mom found me anyway. Mike was doing work for her, and then I came to do her tile or whatever. And I said, oh, so anyway, my mom found Mike because I'm friends with Mike. My friend Mike owns a company called Long Island Stoneworks, and he does incredible jobs, incredible, high-end, all the Hamptons jobs. He is a master craftsman. So my mom met Mike through me, and then Mike brought Andy to my mom. So anyway, I didn't even know that that's where Andy came from. So interesting there. So Andy said, when it comes time for the counters and all that, we'll call Mike. I said, oh yeah, awesome, great. Okay. So I'm also completely honest with Andy. I tell him what happened with the jerk face and all of that. And I told him, and my husband was there too. We were telling him how Jerkface wouldn't listen to anything I wanted in my kitchen design and all this. And I told Andy, same thing I tell everybody that I told you, right? I like drawers. I like a good drawer. And Andy shrugged and goes, okay, pick whatever you want. Andy could care less. Then Andy tells me, he goes, my wife is trying to get me to build a slide into the basement from inside our island for our kids. She wants the doors to open in the island, and then there'd be a slide, and the kid's able to slide down into the basement. And I was like, this guy's my people. And so is his wife. But so point being, he was used to hearing, whatever somebody wants. So there was nothing. His wife wanted a slide in the kitchen island down to the basement for their kids. There was nothing I could tell this guy that he would even raise an eyebrow about. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so he starts measuring. We start talking about a whole bunch of stuff. And remember, he's the first guy out of 3 that ever found the chimney problem, okay? So he starts looking at a whole bunch of stuff that I know Jerkface would have never thought of or looked at or anything. I have a 14-inch header beam that runs across my kitchen, unfortunately, because apparently there was an extension put on. It's nothing you could do, right? I bought the house like that. It's a main support beam. Can't do anything about it. So that header has to stay there. Sucks, but what are you going to do? Also, I'll put like side by side here so you can see. With that hideous double oven alcove build out, Andy was suspicious that that pole is a supporting beam. Like one of those corners is a supporting beam. So he went down into the basement, checked a million things to see, and he is pretty sure, like 99.9% sure, unfortunately, that that's a supporting beam. So one thing that has to be done that is not ideal, that I don't want, number one, the header has to stay. Sucks. 14 inches, man. Whatever. Second thing is he has to put a supporting beam basically against my island. Not ideal, not what I wanted. I am left choiceless in this. What are you going to do? So he has to build another supporting beam that's going to butt right up against the edge of my island, so it won't be a nice open floating island. There's nothing I could do about it. Just need one beam there, and then he's got to rebuild the header from that beam onward. Okay. So another thing that Andy and I discussed is, if you saw it in the first part, where they put the extension, you can see it on the outside. I didn't get the greatest footage of it. And actually, after they did the chimney and they closed off the middle on the outside, you can't really see it that much. But those 2 pieces of my house were off. They weren't even level when you looked at them. One was pushed back. So in order, he was like, oh, we could build it around. I was like, no, Andy, no. The point of this whole project and the 20 grand for the chimney is so that I have a straight run of counter and cabinets. So Andy and I started talking together. He and I are working very well, very similarly so far to how my contractor friend that moved to like Vegas or North Carolina or whatever, how we used to work together. The one that called me the project manager. Because Andy was like, you know, we'll build it out and it'll be like I'm like, no, not at all. So we were talking and I said, can we internally bump it out? Because we're not trying to rebuild the outside of the house, right? We're not trying to do that. So I said, internally, can we build a faux wall to make them level? He said, yeah, no problem. That's what we'll do. He said, your kitchen window will now end up looking like it has like an 8 or 10 inch ledge though. And he's like, you got stuff on it now? I said, yeah, then I'll just be able to put bigger stuff on it, whatever. He's like, yeah, that's what we could do. I said, that's fine if that's what we have to do to make it straight. It's the most important thing to me. So the one portion of the kitchen is going to be faux bumped out so that it's level with the other part of the house. It's crazy. Like, you know, these things come up. Well, it's like crazy. You never know what's going to happen. So just got to kind of keep rolling with the punches and know that I will never, unfortunately, have exactly what I want. You know, I mean, starting already with the support beam butting up against the island, like that's not a look I was going for, but what, you know, oh, well, that or nothing. So it's like, okay, beam it is. Great. You know, pole, whatever. Oh, let me add in one thing. So after Andy and I decided to bump out that wall, I had to get measured for cabinets later on, okay? So it comes like an L. Like this. This is the wall that has to be bumped out. So I had to measure for cabinets here, right? But if we're bumping out, it's going to change, especially on this wall. But I have a huge opening to my living room right here. Huge opening. So I asked Andy, as the project manager, I said, so anything that we have to bump out, we'll take normal cabinet measurements and then we'll pull out, and whatever it takes, we're just going to close off that opening a little bit into the living room to make up for the bumped out space. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly right. So I said, okay. Mind you, That is another thing that Jerkface never thought of or said. I'm going to show you his professional sketch again. Pay attention to what he did in that corner by my opening. He wanted to, by the way, his ideas, close that opening 12 inches. For what reason? This only reason in his sketch. All right, let's take a look at this guy's professional blueprints together. I'm going to draw your attention to the right-hand side towards the bottom. After you see the drawer or pull out the 30-inch, mind you, he moved my refrigerator without telling me, which we're not doing. But anyway, you see that 12-inch little slanted corner cabinet? Yeah, so he added that, and that would require closing off my opening to my living room 12 inches, an entire foot, for no reason, and not even taking into consideration the extra space we would need there for bumping out that wall on the interior to make it level with the other one. So just another little thing to tell you about Jerkface. But again, never calculated the bumping out of the wall to make it even. So the more we went on, the more I saw what a moron the guy was. On top of being a pushy jerk, not listening to anything I freaking wanted, a control freak, and a scammer, and a federal law violator. You know, just add to the list. Okay? All right. So that's where we're at now. So then it comes time for us to order cabinets. And Andy sends the measurements over to the company that he uses. I got to throw in here that Andy and I discussed pricing. And he said right about where Jerkface said. Great. Better than the guy that came and said double, right? So he sends everything over to his cabinet company, and then they email me the quote. And they said, you know, let us know if this is within your budget and we'll move forward. So I call Andy because I'm like, Andy, I don't know if this is in my budget because I don't know what's for cabinets, what's for you, what's for, you know what I'm saying? So we had a long conversation on the phone. He told me like what was going to be for him and then what his price included. That would include the sheetrock, well, construction materials, etc., etc. So basically he said that the price that his cabinet company was quoting him or me, us, would bring us way, way over budget. He said that the cabinets needed to be damn near half of what they were saying. So he's like, let me call them, I'll talk to them. So he calls them and talks to them. Now, mind you, this was cabinets with everything I wanted, all my drawers, all my pullouts, all my everything I wanted. I also want a glass front in one of the sections on top of my coffee bar to put my vintage Pyrex in. I want it to be visible, okay? So Andy calls them and talks to them, you know, says we have to get it down, maybe a cheaper cabinet, maybe a whatever. So they send me another quote, and then I call Andy. It was no big deal. It was about maybe $3,000 more than like where we had to be, you know, which I'll live with. It's fine. But Andy said he looked over the quote and he said that they got to that price by basically taking out everything I wanted. So it was all just regular cabinets, like no pullouts, no drawers, no that, because they were more expensive. So I'm like, well, that's not going to work either, because I'm still not going to pay thousands and thousands and thousands upon thousands of dollars. This is a lot of money, guys, for the cabinets that I don't even want at the end of the day. So Andy said, listen, I don't care. These are just the people I work with because I've known them for a long time. Go to other places, go look at cabinets, do whatever you got to do, be on your own. So I didn't, you know, I wasn't thrilled about this part. It gave me a complete full-time job to do. And I had to go look at cabinet places and schedule things and all that. One place I was going to go to, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I actually went in and looked in the showroom and I liked it. And I had an appointment for a measurement Then I started talking to people who actually had kitchens done by them, and then I started reading reviews online, and I canceled my appointment. It was a plate. Now, again, I don't know. I didn't use them. I have no personal experience, so I'm not knocking them. For me, I just didn't feel like it was a good fit. That was Wren Kitchens with a W, W-R-E-N. I didn't like what I was reading. They weren't wood. They were all the reviews, and then personal people we know. Somebody my stepfather works with, somebody here, was all telling me that like they start like coming apart and separating because they're not wood, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So anyway, I shop around. I find a cabinet place that works with me, all wood. I paid extra to get 3/4 inch plywood on the sides, solid wood cabinets. Like I got the highest end that I could of everything. Obviously soft clothes already. Picked everything, all my pullouts, all my drawers. Everything was exactly how I wanted it. The glass front, glass side on top of the coffee bar. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everything was perfect. So even though I had my own contractor, because they're custom ordered cabinets, they had to send out their people to measure. Their people had to come measure. Then I went and met with the designer again, and then we laid out the whole kitchen. Then the measure guy had to come back and double measure before they would order the cabinets. The double measure time, the guy said, I would have your contractor come and cut holes in here to double check that your design is good, that nothing's going to pop up that you don't know about, because these are custom order cabinets. Like, what are you going to do? So I called Andy and I said, hey, that's what the guy said. He goes, yeah, that's what I was going to do anyway. I said, okay, great. So Andy and I scheduled it, and then Andy came, and that was a very, very stressful day. We're going to go ahead and put in footage here and talk about it. I'm voicing over a lot of this just so you guys know. So I thought that he would be actually drilling 4-inch holes with a bit, but he said he's going to do it this way so that it doesn't make a mess. My mom had told me he's a very neat worker, so this is how he cut all of the holes that day. Now we're checking the header to make sure it can be cut and replaced without any major hiccups.
So your microlamp ends here. This is a regular header. This is what I assumed was in there.
Okay.
This is not in there. This is in there. So I just need to drill a hole to make sure that there's no steel.
I'm going to jump in here to explain what's going on, and this was a very big deal. So he was about to drill a hole straight through to make sure there was no steel center beam in there, because if there was, that was going to be a huge problem, adding thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to the job. So there's one he checked already to make sure there was no any type of duct work or plumbing or anything, water above the sink. And then this is the beam that we just checked, and he still has to close that up. This is also another extremely crucial part, because this is where that chimney was. So he needs to make sure that everything is clear to go straight across with cabinets. We need to make absolute certain that it's all clear and that this can just continue on to the end of the wall. And again, that there's no ductwork there. Now we've moved on to the other side of that bump out and by the closet. So that closet is going to get closed off halfway and build a smaller closet, and the cabinets will run basically halfway the length of where the closet is right now. This was really scary. He ended up cutting one more hole inside the closet because there was something there that he really thought was a very big problem that could have been fixed, but you know, more work, more money. So we spent a long time on this, but luckily that cleared too. Whew. So that was all of that. There was a lot of high tension times and a lot of things that could have gone wrong. Luckily, it all worked out. It actually took 4 hours for him to do all this. He was here for right about like 3.5 hours. We did do a lot of talking though. So the cabinets are ordered, unfortunately, 4 to 6 weeks. And then Andy said he will not even start any demo or anything until the cabinets are here, because he's afraid something happens and then I'm left without a kitchen longer. He's saying this is going to be approximately a 5-week job, which sucks. I went ahead and ordered the floor already. I don't know why, but I just did. So I ordered the floor. Here it is getting delivered. Oh boy. All right. So the flooring is here. The flooring is here. I gotta see how far he can take this. I don't know. Let's see. All right, he said straight back to the garage, no problem. So that's where we're going. They were really awesome. They asked me where I wanted it. I said, please, as close to the garage as you can. And they did it. And then I had Brett stored in the garage. So it's waiting for us in the garage now. This is what the floor looks like that I picked. And then here's a picture of it in a space so you can kind of see it bigger. Also, let me just show you the cabinet color and style that I chose. I chose something very neutral. It's what I wanted. So this is the cabinet fronts. So one of the other issues is my pantry. I will show you what we're working with. Hate them, hate them, hate them. Deep, narrow, really blind to the back. So this is what I've always wanted. Again, Jerkface gave me a problem with this. When I said this is what I wanted, he said, why don't you just get the matching cabinets to whatever you get? And they have built-ins. I said, no, I don't want them. I don't. Like multiple no. So I showed Andy the same thing I showed Jerkface, which is this. And Andy said, oh, that's easy. You just want like an open hole. I'm like, yeah. He said, okay, great. Yeah, no problem. And he's putting lights in. He goes, of course, you're going to need light in there. Beautiful. But turns out those doors are 90 inches high. 90-inch high doors. The standard door is about 80 inches. So when I was placing my cabinetry order, the designer told me that they can custom order those doors for me. And I was like, oh, great. And the reason why I was so excited is because Andy was saying, since doors are only 80 inches, we would need either a 10-inch faux header where the top shelf would kind of be behind it. Or I was thinking maybe on the bottom as a step. I would prefer that, I think, to make everything accessible and I can step up. But once I found out from the designer that there was custom, so I was like, oh, great. I told Andy, he's like, oh, cool, whatever. Well, when I went to order the cabinets, the designer started looking in the totally custom section, and it's not totally custom. It's drop-down menu. So there was nothing that I needed. I think there was 96-inch doors, but they were hollow, so you can't cut them, and or something, I don't know, just nothing was working. And then I wanted bifolds and the 2 sets of bifolds. they don't have the measurements that I would need because it's all weird and custom, this thing. So even the designer was looking at my pictures of my pantry and she goes, those are like, somebody made those out of plywood. They like beveled the edge and made them out of 3/4 inch or inch plywood. Like those are, and I'm like, fantastic. So I'm hoping I don't have to do that. I mean, I guess that could be a possibility if Andy builds them. I don't really know. I'll talk with him one more time. But I started looking online after I left the designer to see if anybody makes custom doors online. So I found a custom door maker in New Jersey, sent them all the specs, sent them everything I wanted. Gorgeous, gorgeous doors. And then I get the quote back and it's $3,500. And I'm like, oof, that's steep for pantry doors. Like, and they're bifolds, you know? So I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. But then I actually started looking on, well, I think it just popped up, Etsy. And I found a custom bifold Etsy thing. And they had a drop-down menu too, but then I messaged the seller and I said, do you make completely custom sizes that are not there? She said, yes. She said, what do you need? What's the opening? I told her, da, da, da. So she sent me a quote and I think it works out to be about $2,300. So I might end up doing that. I'm going to talk to Andy, see what he thinks. Because I don't know if he is like a carpenter, like a wood builder where he can like bevel edges and make them decorative, and then we'll probably end up having a magnet system again. And so I don't know. I'll talk to Andy, see what he thinks is best, what would work for my must be wide open design. That's what I want. Like, just like I showed the picture, that is what I want. So yeah, so that's another thing slightly in the balance now that you guys will kind of keep up to date with. And I'm trying to think through everything right now for you. Let me give you another example about Andy that is like slightly irrelevant to this project, but not, you know, because it's who he is. So while he was here measuring that day, I said, Andy, I have so many other jobs for you. I said, but I want a new vanity in my bathroom downstairs because it's too small. It's stupid. I don't like it. Why isn't it taking up the whole wall? So Andy's like, oh yeah, we could do that. No problem. Then he goes, let me look. And then he goes and looks and he goes, oh, you got a baseboard back there. So you can't. And I was like, oh, because he was laughing when he first saw it. He goes, and one that's up against the wall. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even like pay attention to it. But when he looked, there's a baseboard behind the vanity. That's why it's not up against the wall. So he said, if I want one against the wall, I have to get one of those like floating ones that anchor into the wall, or move the baseboard or take it out or whatever. But again, he looks at everything. He thinks in advance, which is exactly what we need, you know. But long story shorter, it all worked out. So far, so good. I'm telling you. It was tough. It was a tough go when he was cutting those holes. I was so scared, but luckily it looks like everything worked out okay. So we are currently getting closer to the time. If you ever watch my Dollar Tree hauls or whatever, I don't know, at some point I said that I was looking into going to get my white KitchenAid powder coated pink, because all the details are going to be pink. If you watch me, you already know. And then I found a KitchenAid for half price from KitchenAid.com. It was a Black Friday sale, half price. From $400, it was $200. And I'm like, to have it powder coated is probably going to be like $100, $150. So my mom bought me a kitchen gift. And here's just a picture of the top. I didn't take it out of the box, but I just got my pink KitchenAid. So I'm super excited about that. She's going to have her own cabinet. I love it. I have been dealing with the cabinet company for a while now. So here's this. All right, here we go. So the last 2 mornings, I've been getting phone calls, well, automated phone calls from the cabinet company asking, saying that I need to confirm my order and verify whatever, but it's always at like 8:10 in the morning, the last 2 mornings, which is prime time. It's like 34 minutes before little man's bus comes, and we are in full eating breakfast, getting ready, getting changed, getting our backpack, so I can't talk to them. So I need to call them myself. That's what they said to do in the message, to verify my order. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at my schematic so that I can get a better understanding of what I'm verifying when they read it off to me. So I'm going to do just kind of a glance and a count of the bottoms and the uppers and the island and the coffee bar section and all of that, and then call them back to verify. And they want to verify the style also. So we shall see, and I'll be with you guys in a minute.
Your call may be monitored or recorded. Will allow you to receive periodic updates as your order progresses through the manufacturing and delivery process. This will allow you to receive the most up-to-date information about your cabinetry purchase. Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Verify the shipping address. This is especially important if delivery is to an address other than your billing address. We want to avoid unnecessary delays in your receiving your product. Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us. We'll be with you momentarily.
Remember, providing us with an additional phone number, such as a cell phone number, will make it easier for our delivery partners to contact you to schedule delivery. We want to avoid unnecessary delays in receiving your product. Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Your product. Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us. We'll be with you momentarily.
America Woodmark, this is Dawn. How can I help you?
Yes, hi. I'm calling back. I received an automated message about verifying my order.
Okay, give me just a moment. I'm going to get you pulled up. And what's the phone number that order was under?
631.
Okay, and then the name and delivery address, please.
Theoni 789.
Okay, and then that phone number that you gave me, that's the best phone number to call for delivery?
Yes.
Okay. And then it looks like here I have a leaf bird painted stone with a drawer front option, which is a shaker style that will be on the drawer front, the pull-out drawers.
Yes.
All right, so we've got the order tentatively scheduled to ship out. It looks like on January the 3rd.
Okay.
So once it's shipped, you'll be contacted by the delivery agent. I would say probably going to be the 2nd or the 3rd. They'll call to schedule that delivery, and then you'll be able to work that date out with them. Is there anything else I can help with? Did you have any questions today?
No, I think that is all. And I just wanted to double verify. I asked the designer, but they ship assembled, correct?
The cabinets are assembled, yes.
Okay.
The moldings and stuff, of course, would have to be put together. But the cabinets do come fully assembled.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to triple check.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Now, the glass will not come in like the glass door cabinet. That will be separately because they don't do that just for shipping purposes to make sure that that glass doesn't get shattered. So that's something fairly simple to just slide into that open frame door.
Okay.
And then there's clips that go with that, and those will just clip right in.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Awesome. And thank you for calling. You have a good holiday.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Done. Okay, so it was originally supposed to be January 3rd, and then they moved it up a little or whatever. As of right now, I got another automated phone call from them that my expected delivery date is January 9th. But they will, again, contact me closer to that. It's gonna be a big deal. There's gonna be a lot of vlog coming up because we gotta empty out the entire kitchen, find some way to possibly still be able to cook things. I'm gonna order an electric burner and a flat top and whatever to try to set up a small kitchen space downstairs. I have in the basement, we have a gym area that has a treadmill and a stairmaster and weights. But I think I'm going to maybe set up a table there to have some cooking utensils. We do have a pantry and full-size fridge and freezer down there. And then we might just have to eat on the couch. But that's fine. But, you know, if I could find any way to not have to... Oh, and there's also a sink in the basement. So, like, you know, whatever. Anything that we don't have to eat take out every single night will be great. So we have to make those preparations, empty out the entire kitchen, move my huge silver hutch into a wall on the living room. That's going to be... I don't know how we're going to do that. It doesn't come apart, and it's friggin' huge and weighs like 1,000 pounds. I don't know how we're going to do it. But... you know, whatever, all that has to be done. So all that's coming in the vlog. Then I got myself a long time ago in preparation. It's in the garage. I got myself a propane, because there is no natural gas in my area. Not an option. I got myself a gas propane Viking stove, which I've always wanted. So I have it. It's in the garage waiting for my new kitchen. And it is used, but it's probably the only way I would have been able to afford it after my $20,000 chimney that I didn't actually need, but needed. So at my old house, my first house, which is right around the corner, I rent it. It's in the same town, obviously, so there was no natural gas there either. I called the propane company. Boom, they came and delivered a tank. It was outside, and they keep topping it off, and you get a bill like once a year or something crazy like that. And boom, boom, done in 5 minutes. Well, that was in 2012, and apparently things have changed a great deal. The town, like, which is like, where I live, like, it'll be the town of whatever, and it covers like 10 or 15 actual little towns, if that makes any sense. But so that the town, the big town, now requires permits, because anything to get money now requires permits, has a whole bunch of regulations, distances from X, Y, and Z on your house. So I was like, oh crap. Not only that, they have been talking about, I think it's all of New York State, banning propane and other, I guess, dirty fuels. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not really sure. Like, they're like trying to push for like straight electric. But let me tell you, my electric bill is already $450 a month. So no, thank you. And how do we get electricity? I don't know. Anyway, okay. I'm sidetracking here. So I was like, they're talking about banning it. They're talking about 2024. It's going to like Congress or whatever. I don't know. So I started, but then I read the proposal. Then the lawyer kicked in. I'm like, oh, let me read the proposal. So the proposal says anything new. So if they do pass the law, it won't be anything new. You'll be grandfathered in if you already have it. So I panicked, and I'm like, I need to get my propane now, just in case, because I need propane. I don't want electric. I can't have natural gas. Not an option. And we got to do this quickly. So I called the guy to come look. He was like, oh, your only options are here or here, unless you do this, because of that spacing. Has to be 10 feet from the basement window. It has to be whatever from the barbecue, from the wall unit air conditioner that sticks out, from the, like, so many. I'm like, oh, okay. And from the property line. So he came, he's like, I'll send you a quote. He sent me a quote. It's $2,000. And I guess like half of that is the town, the permit and all that. And then the town has to come back and inspect after it's done. So that's becoming a big, huge thing also. But I was like, yeah, whatever. So they wanted half down to start the permit process. So I went to the bank. Here's the little story for that, and going to do it. Yes, hi. This is Theone from Beach.
Okay.
I got the proposal and the estimate that you emailed to me. I wanted to get it all done. I was wondering, is there an actual office location? I tried calling that number, but nobody picked up.
Yeah, the 369-4299.
Yeah, nobody was picking up, and I see on the invoice or whatever, it was only a P.O. Box address.
No, it's 3947 Middle Country Road. You can go right to the office.
3947 Middle Country Road. What town is that in?
Right. That's Calverton.
Oh, that's in Calverton also. Okay.
Yep, we're just a little, I'm going to say maybe half a mile west of Edwards Avenue.
Okay. So I can, do you think if nobody's picking up the phone at the office, I'm still safe to head out there?
Oh, for sure. Somebody's there. We'll be there until 5 o'clock.
Okay.
But let them know that you were having problems, please, on the phone.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, gotta head to the bank, get a cashier's check, and drive out to Calverton. It's kind of far. Probably about 30 minutes or so. But all right, let's go do it. Let's get on it. Brett. 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 Brett.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go to the bank to get a cashier's check and then drive to Calverton to go to Peconic. Okay. Yes. Gotta go do that. All right. Okay, we're here. Can we just take a minute to look at this place? I don't even think you can see it. Look at... Okay, so here's all the propane trucks, but look at this. All right, let's go pay them their money. Man, I knew this. I had a conversation with my mom about it. I was telling her that I hope my survey's clear enough, because last time I had to pull it out for something, I couldn't believe how atrocious it was. Remember, I'm a real estate attorney, so I look at surveys all the time. We need to get the permit, so I needed to include a copy of my survey, my property survey, with the deposit. I just went to the bank. I just drove all the way out here 30 minutes. I forgot the damn survey. She just stopped me on the way out. She forgot too. And then stopped me like in the parking lot. And she's like, if you could just drop off a clear copy, or it's 30 minutes away. Also, I need to, I don't know, I might have to like call my title company and see if they have a better copy of the survey or something, and if I need a new one, it's gonna double the price of this job. For sure. So we have to see, but that's where we're at right now. Dang it, because they can't apply for the permit without the survey to the town. Okay. All right. Let's keep on trucking. That just worked out splendidly. I had to call my title company about another issue with a deal that we did. The bank wanted some papers from them, and while I had her on the phone, I said, hey, you guys were my title company when I bought my house. I know the closing date by heart. I need a survey. My copy's absolute garbage. Can you send me what you have? And she emailed me my survey while we were on the phone. So now at least I have it. I'm going to email it to the propane company, and fingers crossed the town says it's good, but the town never surprises me. Ever. So, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. Always, wish for the most positive. And yeah, all right, that worked out very, very well. I had to pull my car over because I was breaking up anyway, but I pulled my car over on the side of the road, and we took care of all of that. So I don't need to worry about getting it, don't need to drive back out there, and now we're heading home. Yes. All right, cool. Had to fill you guys in. That worked out really well. I'm very happy. All right. So, permit is being applied for and started, and total fingers crossed and prayers on that as well. I'm trying to think of anything else really important right now. Before, the rest of the Kitchen Chronicles is going to be into the thick of it. Oh, and I hate my kitchen so much, as you guys have probably picked up on by now in parts 1 and 2. So I joked around with my husband and I said, I cannot wait. I hate the countertops. I hate everything, the functionality or lack thereof. I just hate it. I hate everything. So I told my husband, I said, I'm going to ask Andy if I could take part in the demolition, because I would get great joy out of that. So when Andy was there measuring, cutting that day to check for all the holes, I told him about it. And I said, yeah, I told my husband, I'm going to ask Andy for the sledgehammer. So and Andy was like, I don't know if I'm going to give you the whole sledgehammer, but I might give you like a roofing hammer or something. We could work something out. And I was like, a roofing hammer? What am I going to do? And then he's like, trust me, you could do a lot of damage with the claw end of a roofing hammer. We'll work it out. He's like, I'll give you a 15-pound roofing hammer instead of a 50-pound sledgehammer. And I was like, all right, whatever. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. And I've been in constant contact with Andy. He's all good. He knows the time. He knows the estimated delivery dates for the cabinets. That's where we're at. We're at a standstill, but it's going to be toward the beginning of the second week in January right now. So this wasn't as dramatic as part 1, and hopefully none of the following parts are anywhere dramatic. Hopefully they're all exciting and wonderful, and every new day is more and more exciting. So pray with me. Send positive vibes. And that is it. That is where we are going to leave off Kitchen Chronicles Part 2. My guess is there will be at least 2 more parts, possibly 3, but I don't know. But again, next time we're together, we're going to be into the beginning of the thick of it. Emptying things out, moving things around, getting ready, and that will hopefully be it. So I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. If you have not yet hit that subscribe button already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider doing so on your way out. Give it a big fat like and a comment down below of anything for the algorithm. And until the next one, guys, stay blessed, my friends. I love each and every one of you.